When we talk about conspiracies in the US, people often bring up JFK or 9/11s. But there's a darker, more disturbing story. Project Monarch, an alleged CIA program for mind control. Officially, we know about MK-Ultra, revealed in the 1970s. The CIA really experimented with LSD, hypnosis, and electroshock to break personalities and reprogram behavior. That's documented. But many claim MK-Ultra was only the beginning. After it ended, a new stage began, Project Monarch. The goal wasn't to just testing. It was creating a new type of human, fully programmable, obedient, without free will. Why Monarch? The monarch butterfly became the symbol. Just as a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly, a person would transform after mind-breaking trauma. The old self dies, the new one is created. Who was involved? According to conspiracy theorists, not only intelligence agencies, but also Hollywood, fashion, and the music industry. Many celebrities' breakdowns are linked to Monarch. Britney Spears shaving her head in 2007. Kanye West's psychotic episodes. Lady Gaga's butterfly and chessboard symbolism. Symbols: butterflies, cat ears, checkerboard floors, all said to be monarch markers in music videos and performances. Methods self-proclaimed victims describe: personality splitting through trauma, drugs, abuse, creation of alter egos triggered by signals, using victims as spies or cultural icons. Why does it matter? If true, Monarch is the perfect tool. Politicians without pasts. Pop stars pushing hidden agendas. An army of sleeper agents. Controversies in the 1990s. Several women claimed they were Monarch slaves. Their testimonies included secret camps, rituals, and government officials. Officially dismissed as fantasy, but MK-Ultra documents prove methods like these did exist. Why does this theory live on? Because there are too many coincidences. Symbols in pop culture, celebrity breakdowns, politicians' odd behavior, destroyed CIA files, and the ultimate question: if MK-Ultra was real, why believe it ended? Meet the monarch butterfly. You probably think it's just an insect that migrates across North America each year, traveling thousands of miles. But in the world of conspiracy theories, the butterfly has a different meaning. It symbolizes transformation. More specifically, it symbolizes turning people into something new through trauma and programming. That's why the monarch butterfly became the logo of Project Monarch, an alleged CIA mind control program started in the 1970s, right after MK-Ultra was exposed. Now, you may have heard about MK-Ultra. That's the CIA project we know really existed. They experimented on humans, most of them unwitting subjects, unsuspecting civilians, unsuspecting subjects. They dosed them with LSD, hypnotized them, used electroshock to basically torture them until their minds broke. Then they tried to rebuild those minds from scratch. This is all documented. There are papers, memos, letters. But what a lot of people say is that those documents tell only part of the story. MK-Ultra was just the first step, a test run. What came next was far darker and far more sinister. If MK-Ultra was the first step, the second was called Project Monarch. And according to the conspiracy, it was anything but a small step. To understand it, let's go back to basics. What was the goal of Project Monarch? Simply put, total mind control. Not like with MK-Ultra, where they just experimented on people. With Monarch, they aimed to create a product, a certain type of person who could then be deployed around the world. Think of it like this. MK-Ultra was research. Monarch was manufacturing. Under Project Monarch, the CIA didn't just want to experiment on people. They wanted to create a new type of human being. Someone completely programmable. Someone with no will of their own. Someone who could do anything they were told to do. And that meant breaking down the subject entirely, destroying their personality, and then rebuilding that personality from scratch, turning them into someone new. Now, if you're thinking that sounds absolutely insane, you're not wrong. But conspiracies often deal with things we don't want to believe happened. And this is one of those cases. Let's take a look at some of the claims made about Project Monarch. First off, the name. Why choose a butterfly as the project symbol? Well, because of what it represents. The idea that the test subject goes through some kind of metamorphosis. They're reborn. They become someone else. The old self dies. The new one is created. How is this done? Well, that's the second question. And according to those who believe in the Monarch theory, it happens in 3 stages. First, unique trauma. That can mean extreme stress, drugs, abuse. Basically, any form of torture. Second, personality splitting. Victims often report having multiple personalities, being able to switch between them at will. These are called alters. Third, the creation of triggers. Once the alter is created, it needs to be activated. And that activation can be triggered by certain words, sounds, symbols. One victim said, "I have 35 alters. All of them, except one, are dormant. The one I mostly use is Keith. He comes out when I hear the song Hotel California." So in essence, victims were turned into puppets, strings attached. The CIA could pull them at any time. But how does the butterfly fit into all of this? Well, the butterfly represents the final stage of this process, the stage where the person is reborn. In fact, butterflies are a common symbol in a lot of conspiracy theories. The same goes for checkerboard floors and chessboards. That's the signal. A lot of celebrities seem to keep showing up with butterflies and checkerboards, which conspiracy theorists say proves their theory. Lady Gaga, for instance, seems to use the butterfly a lot. Her album, Born This Way, has butterfly wings on the cover. She often wears butterfly jewelry. And she even has a butterfly tattoo, but she's not the only one. There are plenty of other celebrities who show up with butterflies all the time. In 2007, Britney Spears shaved her head bald. At the time, she was performing in a Las Vegas show. Some believed it wasn't just her own decision. Instead, it was a signal to her alter ego. In 2016, Kanye West had a psychotic episode. He talked about Mark Zuckerberg for an entire rambling speech. He went on and on about how he is a billionaire and how he wants to run for president. Conspiracy theorists said it was another signal, another example of mind control working. That brings us to the third point. Why do so many celebrities seem to follow the Monarch protocol? Why do they keep triggering their alters? Well, that's the hard part to explain. Most likely, it's a combination of factors. Maybe some celebrities did join the program voluntarily. Maybe others were coerced. Maybe some were just born into it. You see, if you want to have a population that's fully controllable, you don't just have to experiment on random people off the street. You need to build a network, a group of people you can rely on. And what better place to start than with the elite, the richest, most influential people in the world? Celebrities aren't just famous, they're extremely wealthy. Politicians aren't just powerful, they're well connected. Monarch allowed the CIA to control. Those connections turn the elite into assets. So, why does it matter? Well, because if true, Monarch was the perfect tool. It gave the CIA and other groups an army of sleeper agents. They could deploy those agents anywhere in the world, anytime. They could be spies, assassins, propaganda spreaders, pop stars, basically anyone. In fact, one conspiracy theory says that's exactly what happened with one of the biggest pop stars in history, Madonna. According to this theory, she's actually a former CIA asset. In other words, a product of Project Monarch. As proof, conspiracy theorists cite her strange behavior over the years. In 2014, for instance, she kissed Drake on stage during one of his concerts. In 2016, She performed in a bra and underwear on a chair. And then there's her music videos. They're full of Monarch symbols. Take Vogue, for instance. It features a lot of hand movements. Conspiracy theorists say those are sign language words for "help me," or consider her 2012 tour. The stage was shaped like a checkerboard, and the backdrop featured huge butterfly wings. And those are just a few examples. If you read up on the Monarch conspiracy, you'll find endless claims about secret societies, secret rituals, secret camps, and of course, secret documents. The CIA keep files on Project Monarch, but they were destroyed in the late 1980s. So now there's no way to confirm or deny the project ever existed. That doesn't stop people from believing in it, though. In fact, there are entire websites dedicated to the theory. People post images, videos, texts, anything to support their case. And it's understandable why. If this project really existed, it means that everything we thought we knew about the CIA is wrong. It means that our leaders are controlled by shadowy organizations. It means that the world is much more sinister than we want to admit. If you like this video, make sure to check out the next one. See you there.